Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 9:02. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? All good. No public here to make a comment. Minutes, did you have a chance to review them?
I did.
Any-
I don't have any changes, so do we need to move to approve?
We do, and we can do one motion for both.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from November 12th and March 11th.
I will second. Any discussion?
None.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect. No correspondence. So let's jump right into transportation. So we have two things to talk about on C3. One is from our discussion last month, which is if you are looking at the draft policy, it's the second paragraph, the only bullet on the page, which I just copied right over from F50, I think. Yeah, from F50, as we had discussed. So why don't we start with that? Any thoughts, comments, concerns?
I felt like it was adding that just made it like more clear and everything was all on the same page and in alignment.
I'm good with it. I like you said, I think it just makes it clear. It's not a change of policy at all. It's just a clarification of it. So the other thing that I have is we had talked a little bit about the ratio of students to adults. And I scanned the pretty dense 168 page CBCCPP, whatever that stands for. I don't remember now. I think I put it in the folder.
The center-based preschool guidelines.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I was trying to do a comparison between that and the legal references in the policy. There is nothing in the legal references that reference that that guidance or age ranges or ratios or anything. If we want to do anything along those lines, I would think it could be along the lines of just a whereas statement, which is River Valley's essentially will follow the CBCCPP guidance. I don't know that we want to put that in policy though, since I gather we may not always be able to do that. So unless, well, what do you guys, what was that, Tammy?
Even necessary to add that?
I don't think so. It was part of our discussion last month, so I wanted to do the research.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if is it more binding if it's put in?
Absolutely. It's I mean, it's legal. I mean,
Right.
it's completely binding if it's in there.
So then we might down the road have to relook at the policy if the guidance changes.
Yeah. And it would mean that if you can't follow it on a specific day, week, month, year, that bus doesn't run. And I don't know that we really want to go down that route.
As a parent, Kate, that would be a little bit inconvenient, would you say?
A little bit, yeah. Well, and we definitely have community members that are that would do the digging and find all these things. So we should keep it simple. We should keep it very simple. And yeah, because to get a robocall in the morning that the bus isn't going to run because we have too many, well, and they wouldn't know the backstory, but that would just be super inconvenient for many, for something that we can possibly just avoid.
And how do you even know that till all the kids are on the bus?
That's
I
a
mean, I
good point.
suppose if you have a set number that's regular, then you would know that, but if it varies, so I think that that manual is a guidance for administration to set up procedures. Let's leave it there. Okay.
Yeah,
Any other, not that there's a whole lot to this policy, but since we have it open, we might as well, is there anything else that looks like we should address or change or talk about?
I'm not seeing anything else.
You good, Tammy? You're, it is hard to hear you sometimes. Like right now, you can't, before we could.
Yeah, it's anytime I open any more documents than one. So now I've got some of the policies opened and it's fuzzy. So I think I need a new computer.
Put in the budget. Excuse me, put in the budget. All right, so I'm going to, and this is up to you, Kate. My suggestion would be that we put this as revised, which I believe still has to be warned, but at least it's known that there was a change made rather than it being essentially looking like a whole new policy. And we can let the board decide if that's the route that they want to take or not.
So we can move it forward, bring it to the board to rewarn the policy that we've revised.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess the motion would be to recommend to the board that we mark the policy as revised. And then the motion that we would make at the board meeting would be to warn it.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
That sounds great. Let's move that forward.
Okay, I'll take that as a motion. I'll second it. Any discussion?
None.
Nope. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Great. That passes. Okay. So F50. I think we all got email from Lori saying that she was, or Jen, one of them, that she was gonna give us some.
Oh wait, did we skipped over E1?
Did we? No, that it's just a placeholder.
Oh, E1. Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. It's just like we're putting the placeholders on our regular agenda now. That way it doesn't fall through the cracks as C21 did, since I kept forgetting that we needed to do it. So I figured we'd just keep a placeholder.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So anyway, I never got a response from Lori or Jen with any specifics.
Comment. She copy and pasted the document and added some comments, it looked like. Were you able to see those? And I did touch base with Jen this morning. She said she looked over Lori's comments as well, and she didn't have anything to add.
Okay, let me find.
Oh, it came in this morning.
That would explain it. Okay.
It's really language about residency. And she had a suggestion about what to add.
The timeline for mid-July instead of mid-August so that folks could plan.
Not to, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, why don't we take her comments one by one, starting with the second bullet of F50, which looks like she just suggests we add within River Valley School District.
So it's clear and not, because it is confusing for folks who, and it takes some time to understand the difference between River Valley School District versus Wyndham Central Supervisory Union. Like those things are not always clear, especially if a family were new to the community and to the Vermont.
Oh, definitely. I'm fine with that one. The second, are you guys fine with that one? Not much of a change. School choice does not apply to non-resident students. Families must fill out residency they have to prior to applying for inter-district school choice. School choice does not apply to non-resident students. Okay. Fill out a residency affidavit. I see what she's saying. I think it's a little confusing. I mean, I had to read it 3 times.
The residency affidavit.
Yeah, I think I'd rather keep this because the procedure, the procedures follow.
So is she just worried about order of operations, that somebody's gonna fill out an application for school choice before we can even realize where they live? Is that?
I think that seems to be the issue that she's trying to solve. Just not so sure that this is a place to do that. What do you think?
So if you were a family, and you like it was new to town, you were new to town and you came across this policy, does that statement offer a level of clarification to something you might not realize? That there's even a process where you have to fill out a residency affidavit? Or does that make it more complex?
To me, it makes it more complex. I don't. I mean, I guess the question is, how often do families move into town not realizing they need to prove residency? Or, I mean, they're gonna, Jen or Lori's gonna tell them that they need to. Can't hear you.
They won't enroll a student without that?
That's what I would think. So
Okay, so if it's not needed, then let's just bypass it.
that would be my choice. To me, it just complicates the policy. All right,
And
so
when we get our website up and running, all those forms will be accessible to families, so it'll be part of the packet.
they'll also be electronic. They won't have to fill them out in paper. That's going to be really nice for you all.
Yes.
So wait, like the first week of school, instead of like getting this massive packet of paperwork, we could all just go online and fill out a form. And then you guys have it in your database. And maybe we don't even have to fill out a brand new form every year. Maybe you can just like do updates. Think about that when you guys are designing the form process, to see if there's like an updating process instead of a fresh form every freaking year. But then I could actually like just have it like, you know, like my contacts, because writing all of that in duplicate is always Wow, that's a pain point that you guys be super solving.
The only way to do that would be to use some sort of user account process.
Okay.
And I don't know if we want to go down that road because there are already so many user accounts that people have. But Tammy, can you, just because I've only got policy stuff here, can you put that down for us to discuss? I think we meet next week, I think.
Meeting, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Kate, that's a good idea, definitely.
If it works, it works. If it doesn't, at least we asked. And see if there's a way that if people have multiple children in the school, if you can fill out, like if you can do, like, you know what I mean? So you don't have to do one form for one kid, a whole second slew. Like if you can do multiple children, that would be fun.
It can definitely be done. It's just a matter of how complicated we want to get.
Mhm.
All right, so back to the guidelines. Again, the same change in the first bullet in D42. I'm fine with that. And that's it. We need to get you a new computer. Kate, are you good with, I mean, it's just adding the name of the district. All right. So we as a committee can vote on the procedures. The board doesn't vote on the procedure though. The board only votes on the policy. So Kate, you want to move this that we, before we do that, the changes that we made to F50, so in the first paragraph, we took out the second line that had said transportation is provided for pre-K to 6 students attending school within the town of residence. I see another change we need to make. Oh, wait, do we? So we talked about where this policy doesn't govern pre-K. Oh, no, it does. We're not on the transportation anymore. Confusing myself. Can't hear you. Okay, you can stay logged in here, turn off your microphone and speakers and just use the phone for audio. Tammy, can you still hear us? Okay, so I'm just going to keep going. In the second paragraph, I'm realizing we do need to change the pre-K to 6 to just K through 6, because pre-K is universal choice anyway. So I'll just take the P out. In the third bullet, we removed the same line that was in the first. Transportation to pre-K -6 buildings will be provided for students attending a school within one's town of residence. And I think those were the changes.
I believe so.
And I think we took those out for clarity and because pre-K is not included.
would you mind letting me in on my phone to the meeting?
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go.
Thank you.
So I really have gotten myself confused. The that CB, whatever, that's for just pre-K or kindergarten also? Just pre-K. Okay. So yeah. Anything else that you guys see? And just as a reminder, there is no specific rule in here in regards to ratios. That's left up to, actually, we did add something else in the first paragraph. We added at the end, with consideration for RVUSD policy D6 class size policy. Which itself doesn't have specific numbers in it. That's left up to administration. So Kate, if you're good with all that, and Tammy, you don't have any other changes, you want to move that we recommend to the board that F50 be let's do revised again, because it is a revision.
Okay, so I'd like to move that we move F50 to the board as a revised policy.
I will second. Any discussion?
None.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. So that is F50. And I have already lost my paperwork for C3 somehow. I don't remember getting up from my seat, so it has to be here someplace. So A30 and A31 are both policies that are to be considered in the to be considered category from the VSBA. They don't differ too much from what we already do. I just think that, especially for new board members, it would be beneficial to have these in place. So this is the first time we're talking about it, so I'm very interested to hear what you think.
Yeah, we can bring it forward to the board to see if they want to adopt the policy, because we haven't had it before.
It just seems to set the standards. The only suggestion I had was on page 2 of A30 under dissemination. Second sentence. I thought that we should, or at least discussed adding adding the website to it. That it also be available on the website if there is one.
So is that manageable for the schools to each take on putting all the policies in some type of binder and making it, keeping documentation of them all?
Well, we're talking about at the next website committee meeting, aren't we talking about our drive and all of that, Mark? So
Yeah.
we'll find out more, hopefully. It seems like it would be, everything's electronic, right? It seems.
Basically what we're going to be doing, we're going to take that, we're going to be taking that, not the control, but it's going to, rather than our documents being on Windows Essentials website, they're going to be on our website.
Right,
It's still going to be Meg that posts them, but it's going to be to ours, which will be a clean, easy to use, people be able to find what they're looking for system. So I don't read anything. I don't read anything here that would require a hard copy. If that's what you were thinking, Kate.
Yeah, a copy of the district policy manual will be available during the normal working day in the office and or library of each school within the district.
Yet that doesn't have to be physical though,
Okay. All right.
as long as a computer exists. But we can change that. I mean, we can.
Nope.
It doesn't.
The logic of the website serves as the copy makes a lot of sense. And I hadn't thought of it that way. So let's just move forward with that.
Okay. With adding and or website if one exists, and we just need the if exists because it doesn't exist yet.
If applicable.
Okay.
Yeah, we can add that line.
But and or district website.
Okay, so do we want to make a motion to bring it forward for the board to review?
Well, we would be making a recommendation to the board to warn and
Adopt.
adopt it.
Okay.
And then the board could, if nobody makes a motion, then we don't vote on it. And if we do make a motion, the board can vote it down if they don't want it. All right, so we'll go ahead with that motion. So I don't know if we need to have adopt in there.
Because they get to decide if they want to adopt it. We don't have to determine
Right.
what action is.
Yeah, so we'll just have, the committee recommends warning. Actually, I guess it would should just be, I don't know. Because the process to adopt is to first post it. And we post it by warning it.
To consider adopting it, that we bring it forward to the board to consider adopting as part of the policy family.
Okay, we'll use that language, consider adopting. Okay, all in favor? Well, any
Aye.
discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Well, it's 8:30. 8:31 is similar in idea. We don't currently do any education. We don't require any education other than the statutory requirement for the board chair and the superintendent. So while this doesn't require it, I think it makes it a greater imperative that it be done. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea, but putting something as a policy, like if we don't fulfill it, does that put us in a bad spot?
Well, because this isn't Yes, it does. That last sentence of the first paragraph. I mean, my personal opinion is that it should be mandatory. I think that there's only so much that the board can reiterate to other board members, and there's nuance that the VSBA's new board member training is meant to relay.
It also talks about an orientation. I'm not sure if that's something that exists. I don't think it does. So that would be something that would need to be developed as a result of adopting this policy.
I guess and I guess that might be correct. I was thinking that that's the VSBA new member training.
As district orientation.
Yeah. What if we took out in a district orientation session and just had new members will participate? Oh, and other. Nope, we leave in. New members will participate in opportunities designed to familiarize themselves with all aspects of board operation. That leaves it pretty broad.
So who's going to create the district orientation session?
Well, I was suggesting we take that out.
Oh, okay.
We take it from A through other. So we take out a district orientation session and other. So the sentence would just read, new members will participate in opportunities designed to familiarize themselves.
I think I'm struggling with this one because it just feels like that's a huge time commitment. And that's, like, I really I think the continuing education is great. I don't think we have a clear path forward in terms of all right, here, you're a new board member, here you go. This is exactly the path you need to do to kind of check off all the boxes to get assimilated and trained and knowledgeable in the ways of the board. And I see that you're probably trying to do that with this policy, but I wonder if there's
So I guess what I would, I guess, and we could very easily create a new member welcome sheet with the website for the VSBA and the new member training, the name of it, the new member training, so that they can get it. I see that as where is it? Let's see it. In the third sentence of the first paragraph, says the superintendent and board chair will be responsible for sharing that information on leadership development opportunities is available to all members. And they already do that. Do they? I guess not. Bill's gotten better about, he's now forwarding the weekly VSBA updates to all board members, and that has all that material in it. It has a list of all the webinars. So I think they could fulfill that in that measure.
And then if we have it as a policy, Mark, too, like who's gonna go through every year and say, okay, like here's the 6 board members who's doing their homework, like, you know, like it becomes more administrative, like it just, I think we can definitely create, and we probably should talk about those opportunities more so that like, because if you do that, if you can get engagement, like, oh, hey, I'm gonna go to this one, this sounds really cool. Like it's going to create more of an atmosphere where we are doing continuing education a lot more so than having a policy in place that people might not always read the policy. And it, yeah. Just putting the accountability back on the board member itself versus like making a policy to make people behave.
Since there's no stick or carrot with this, I'm not sure that, I think it's there to make sure that the board, I mean, personally, I can make more of an effort to, you know, at our meetings, list the workshops that are coming up. But what about when there isn't a member of the VSBA on the board?
Then I think that policy, like even if there's, unless there's somebody that's taking this policy and driving it forward, it's just a policy that exists in the manual that's collecting dust. Like, I think it's got to become a culture of education versus a policy to tell you that you need an education.
And you don't think policy can start that process? I guess that's the way, I think that's the way I was looking at it.
No, because to me, this, honestly, Mark, I'm at the point where everybody's telling me where my time needs to go. And like, it just feels like one more thing that's like, well, your time needs to go here and your time needs to go there. And like, I'm at 2 years of super time constraints. So I'm feeling a little pushback on that. Like,
But take it away from yourself though, as a new board member who has made the choice to run for the position. You're making a time commitment. And I think we're talking about, I mean, the new member training is what, 4 hours? Not a huge time commitment. So don't look at this as for yourself, but look at this as the wider vision that, you know, when you sign up to be a board member, you're making a commitment to you know, be able to fulfill your responsibilities, and you need to know what those responsibilities are.
I think you are making that commitment, but I don't think you have to put a policy into place to tell you all the tiny details. I think we can work together as a group to fulfill those.
Okay. I disagree, but that's what we're here for. We will not proceed with A31. I think we do need to do something though. Yeah, and I do think that training should be a requirement. You know, we're not looking at, not talking about you who's been on the board already. We're not talking about, we're talking about people that have, and people resign from boards when they don't have the time to, you know, the time to fulfill the commitment. But I do believe a commitment when you join the board is more than just the you know, the 2-hour bi-monthly meeting. So, all right, we'll move on. C21, this is the one that I keep forgetting to bring back to the board.
The seizure students.
Yep. And I just want to pull up the agenda. I put on here VSBA's response. So we had that issue of seizing the student. And I took that to the VSBA and they worked with Visbit and did revise the policy. Let's see, in the first line, they corrected the reference to the legal reference that was not there. In the third paragraph, first line, superintendent shall ensure that all searches and seizures of students and student property. We were wondering whether it make more sense to make it clear that the superintendent shall ensure all searches of students and seizures of student property. I think they made that change. And then the last one was again the legal references. So that's where we are. We've got a corrected policy. Now the question is, do we want to move forward with it?
I don't think they've updated it on their website yet because it says the revision on March 3rd, 21.
Yeah, they have not.
Okay.
And I well, actually, if you click the document, it may be updated. They may just not have updated the date. I think that's what it was, if I remember correctly. Well, the newest version is March 3rd, 21.
Which is
Right.
last. We're in 22.
Right.
Yeah.
We started talking about this quite a while ago.
It was that long. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's reading a lot more clear now. Searches of students, persons, personal and effective vehicles. And then it talks about the searches of students and all search and seizures of student property are conducted in a manner.
Now you understand why I put that placeholder for E1 on the
Yes.
agenda.
Oh, yes. Like,
So, Tammy, this is kind of more in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I think we should move it forward with those changes.
Okay. I'm all for that. Kate, any concerns, changes?
no, I'm very glad that we're no longer going to be seizing students.
I
Yes.
couldn't agree more.
Yes.
Um,
So I move that we bring it forward to the board and recommend adoption.
Okay, I will second that. Any further discussion?
None.
It's very weird seeing you twice, Tammy.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to?
No, it's okay. I just.
I do have a twin.
Do you?
Yeah,
Well, you do now.
I know.
Do you really?
Figuratively now, yes.
Oh, very cool.
It's funny to see the color differences between the two cameras. Like,
Yeah, I think it's a depth perception difference that's throwing me off. It's like two different people.
Yeah.
well,
But
Tammy does in.
it's really okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And I really like the notes that you are putting in on this agenda, Mark. It is really, the level of detail is awesome. I really like that.
It's very helpful when we haven't discussed a policy in however.
Over a year.
I can't believe it's been that long, but yeah, that's okay.
And I mean, it shows you that I got the policy back in March of last year, and it's been waiting for a year. F27 is a new policy, a new recommended policy, apropos of COVID, I'm assuming. So to start with, Tammy, I'm interested in your thoughts, since it's you guys that are going to have to be implementing it.
just reading it over again. Can you just give me a minute, Mark?
Of course, take your time.
Yeah. I mean, initially, my gut says, should we have somebody in the health profession, like the school nurse, look this over?
I was just about to say, I was waiting for you to finish reading. I was about to say, we probably should have our new nurse look this over before we proceed.
That would be very helpful, I think.
Okay, can you send it to her and ask
Absolutely.
her
Yeah.
feedback, and we'll bring it up again at our May meeting. Kate, before we kind of go off the topic of it, do you have any thoughts, concerns?
So with that first paragraph, like, did Wyndham Central Supervisory Union put together something so that school staff must be vaccinated? Like, no. So,
Not a requirement.
but it's including but not limited to. So it's not like yeah, okay. Just checking in on that language. Yeah, I think having Nurse Elise read through this would be super helpful.
Okay, so we'll go down that route with F27. Any new policies from either of you, either ideas or specific ones that you want to look at? No.
Are there,
We're going into a period when there's not going to be a lot of reviews for us to do. So I'm going to start bringing some of the policies up that, you know, I think close to a year ago, we started saying we wanted to at least take a look at. And actually A30 and A31 were two of those. So yeah, if there's nothing else, we will meet again on May 3rd and then on June 10th.
May 3rd or May 13th?
May 13th.